me okay? Great. I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize for any hacking that I might do during this cough. Okay, so knowledge should be mostly free. I'm going to talk a little bit today about a piece of open source software I've been working on for the last 3.5, 4 years called Manifold Scholarship. It's an open source web platform for scholarly publishing. But before we talk about that, we're going to take a little detour into academic publishing generally. And academic publishing goes way back, arguably to 1665, when the first issue of the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society was published. This journal is still in print today. Here's a more recent issue from April 19th, 2018. I think it's a little bit kind of awe-inspiring to think about how much knowledge and research has come out of this one journal for the last 300 years, let alone the whole body of thousands of journals that have come out of the university press system. In 1978, I'm going from memory because I can't see my notes on this, Jimmy Carter declared University Press Week in America to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Johns Hopkins University Press, our first academic press. We need university presses. We need them for a number of reasons. They disseminate scholarship. Without university presses, knowledge gets trapped in academia and it doesn't get spread out to the culture and society at large. We need university presses because they publish scholarship for which there may not be a large market. I like the idea of a world in which we can have research that isn't commercially viable, that isn't going to be sold in the near future. University presses test for truth, and they ensure quality of scholarship by enforcing a peer review process and robust editorial controls. They're often small, local, and regional, and they work towards preserving and amplifying distinct cultures and voices. And finally, they partner with libraries to preserve scholarship. They're deeply invested in the kind of big job of preserving generations of knowledge. But these are difficult times for our university presses in America. There's increasing public skepticism of academic expertise generally. I'm told that we're entering a new war, a war on science, which is more stupefying than just about anything I can imagine. There are concerns about the reliability of the peer review system. There was a hoax recently where 3 scholars wrote 20 fake papers and submitted them mostly to gender studies and cultural studies journals. And of those 20, only 6 failed to be published, or 7 were published and the rest were in the peer review system when this was publicized. This is being seized upon by the right as evidence of the fact that all academics are biased cultural warriors. I'm not sure that that's the right takeaway from what happened here. A better takeaway might be that the peer review system, while imperfect, was not really set up to account for falsified data and fundamentally bad actors and dishonest people. We have giant corporate publishers with racketeering-like business practices. Quote, this is from a Huffington Post article, academic publisher Elsevier, which owns a majority of the prestigious academic journals, has higher operating profits than Apple. In 2013, they posted 39% profits. This is an old industry, and we have this giant publishing company raking in money. We have declining education funding. We haven't made hard choices about how we want to fund scholarship as a society. The model kind of works like this right now. You have the university, which makes the scholarship. They hand it off to this corporate publisher who didn't really pay for that scholarship to be produced. That was funded probably by tuition and tax dollars and whatnot. And then they sell that back to the university at a tremendously high markup, millions of dollars for libraries to subscribe to this knowledge, to the knowledge that they produced. That's how you get to 39% markup. We have a serious problem with labor in academia, and there's a whole nother talk that's going to take more than 10 minutes to do that one. Quote, in contrast to the exorbitant prices for access, the majority of academic journals are produced, reviewed, and edited on a voluntary basis by academics who take part in the tasks for tenure and promotion. So what do we do? Well, we might just burn it all down, right, and start over. That's one answer. We have things like Sci-Hub now, right, which are essentially taking articles from these journal databases and making them freely available. It's like the Napster of scientific knowledge. I'm not sure that's a sustainable way forward for public knowledge, but it's something. I think we might want to look at, instead of burning it down, revising things a little bit, moving towards a system where the incentives are aligned properly and where knowledge can be returned to the public. One of the ways we get there is through open access. This isn't a silver bullet, but it's one solution that gets us down the road. And with open access, the model is a little bit different. The university still produces the scholarship, but now they take money to the publisher and pay the publisher to publish it. That knowledge is then returned back to the public and the university in the form of open access materials. Europe kind of gets it, right? After January 1st, scientific publications that are coming from research that was funded by public grants must be published in compliant open access journals. This is called Plan S. New York gets it, or is getting it. They recently doubled down on an investment of taxpayer money in open educational resources, which are not the same as open access, but related. And the Mellon Foundation, who funded the work we did on Manifold scholarship, and I will return to that now, gets it as well. We were funded by the Scholarly Communications Department at Mellon. They gave us a 3-year grant for about $750,000, and then a 2-year grant for about $800,000. My company, Cast Iron Coding, has been building Manifold in collaboration with the City University of New York, which is the largest urban university system in America, and the University of Minnesota Press, which is a well-known publisher of cultural and critical theory, among other things. The Mellon Foundation has thrown money at us, and they've thrown money at a number of other organizations, millions of dollars, to try to address this problem, some of these problems in publishing. And they have a number of different goals that they're trying to solve, many of which are around bringing new technologies and digital platforms to publishing, which is kind of an old-fashioned and stodgy business. With Manifold, our goals were fairly straightforward. We wanted to build something that fit into existing workflows. We wanted to build something where authors could enrich text with media and new kinds of resources that didn't make it into the print edition. We wanted readers to have a platform that wasn't crappy and where they might actually enjoy reading a book on it. So we spent money on design, on UX design. And we wanted readers to be able to annotate and talk to each other. So I'm going to kind of quickly run through some screenshots here. This is the homepage of Manifold on the University of Minnesota Press's instance. Manifold is 2 parts. The back end is an API-only Rails application, and the front end is an isomorphic React application. When you drill down into a project, you get to the book. This is a book called The Perversity of Things on Hugo Gernsback, famed inventor. And the reader looks like this. Here you see the author at work in his private study, aided by the isolator, which affords total concentration and air supply through that little tube on the front. A wonderful book, Metagaming, is on Manifold, where you can see a game, or you can download a game that the authors made called 99 Exercises in Play, where Mario finds himself stretched, squashed, duplicated, displaced, slowed down, sped up, zoomed in, or zoomed out. And there's wonderful things like this involved in that. There's books on Python, how to code Python, that are up on Manifold. This was written by somebody at DigitalOcean. The University of New York is using it as an OER platform, and authors are using it for peer review of their books in a pre-publication state. Manifold has a nice back end. Anyone can kind of go in. You don't have to be a genius to use it. Press users can get in here. They can ingest text from EPUBs, Google Docs, Markdown, HTML, Word docs, combinations of these sources. It's on GitHub. It's open source. You can look at the code. You can contribute to it. You can download it yourself. You can read the tutorial on DigitalOcean and set up your own droplet, spin it up, and have your own instance of Manifold. And once you do, you can finally start that online poetry journal you've been dreaming about. You can finish that novel and publish it. And more importantly, when you do that, you will control the platform. You will own your intellectual property. So consider looking at Manifold and contributing, if you're so inclined, to what I think is a really great open source project. And I've left some Manifold goodies up here. If anybody would like some, please help yourself after my talk. Thank you.